Hi, everyone, and welcome to Freedom Friday on Rebel TV. We are very, very happy to have you here. Fridays are always a little bit special, but what the Rebels are all about is we are a team on a mission of creating the most successful team of entrepreneurs in the history of online marketing, and we use Rebel TV as a way to get together, hang out, share ideas, share tips and tricks, and help each other in creating that. If you're watching, you're either a rebel or you're a guest of a rebel. And if you're a guest of a rebel, you are always free at any point to click on the link below when you decide that you want to join the rebels. So today we are talking about decisions, and we're actually talking about this from a different perspective than you've probably heard before. You probably know that making decisions is a really powerful way that you can move forward in your life, in your business, in any goal that you're trying to create. But one thing that we have found as rebels, we like to find shortcuts. So one of the shortcuts that we have found is a way of using the momentum and the energy of other people's decisions to move forward in our own. So we're going to get into that in a minute, but first I wanted to take a moment to welcome my guests and have them come out and introduce themselves. Oh, by the way, I'm Neve, everyone. Donnie, since you're unmuted, why don't you jump out and say hi?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Donnie Parks, and I'm part of the Rebel Marketers. And I just share a little bit about myself. I like to do things outdoors. I like to run obstacle races. I like to climb mountains. I like to scuba dive. I like to sail on the ocean. I like to do all of this crazy adventure stuff. But my second passion is to share what I do and share what I love online with other people.
Very, very cool. And Sarah, we have the awesome Sarah Kay on as well.
Hey, yeah, I'm Sarah Kay, and online, yes, I go by Awesome Sarah Kay because I think I'm pretty spectacular. I'm a rebel, I'm a mom, I'm a musician, and same as Donnie, like, I love to share what I'm passionate about, what I'm doing with other people who have similar interests. So.
Very cool, very cool. Well, first off, I want to kind of talk about the traditional model of decision making when you go out there and you make a decision that you're going to do something different. So Sarah, I'd love to just jump straight to you. And can you tell us about a time when you've had to, if you can think of one, when you've made a decision on your own and the amount of effort or energy that it took for you to kind of propel yourself into your new decision?
Well, I've made so many decisions in the traditional fashion that I don't know if I can pick one out specifically, but I can easily tell you what it feels like and how difficult it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, at least the way that I have felt about it in the past was when you are ready to make a decision, you just need to, man up, make the decision, put it out there, and you just do it. And there's no secret trick. There's no easy way around it. You just do it. And so all my adult life, at least, I've struggled with, okay, I've made the decision, now I just have to do it. And I was constantly tripping over myself because there were things getting in the way. I didn't, not that I didn't want to accomplish the goal, but just doing it is really hard sometimes. Like, I've struggled with procrastination sometimes, I don't want to do things that are hard. I mean, I like the challenge, but at the same time, the struggle sometimes can be overwhelming. And so most of my experiences have been like that. I make a decision, I try to just do it, and then I beat myself up because I can't just do it. I'm struggling all the time.
I muted myself. Yeah, I can totally relate to what you're saying there, Sarah. I think it's like this push-pull thing where you make a decision, but then it's almost like, for me anyway, my experience of that is that it's like I'll take one step forward and then a half a step back. So I am sort of getting there, but it feels like this constant push-pull of kind of regressing on my decision a little bit and then being like, oh, now I feel guilty, I better push, and a lot of my push was coming out of guilt. Donnie, what's been your experience with the traditional model of making a decision and then using your own kind of energy and propellant or motivation or whatever to move you forward in your decision towards a goal? How has your experience been around that?
Well, actually making a decision sometimes can be the easy part. following through with it is what's hard, and being consistent, going for it. A lot of times, self-doubt will creep in. In the past, I've had issues with procrastination, like Sarah was talking about, but also self-doubt. You think, you second guess yourself, and you're not sure about what you're going to do, and that can hold you back. And then you're just get in this state of mind where you're not taking any action. You're lost. You're not really accomplishing much, and you're spinning your wheels, so to speak, and you're not really accomplishing your goals, and you're not really following through with a lot of things that you know that you should be doing to get to where you want to go. But then you get frustrated because you're not doing it, and then you do even less than what you did before. So it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, sort of, so to speak. It's just, you just keep on this little hamster wheel of inaction. So yeah, that's some of the things that I've ever had. And as far as making the decision, that is one of the, you know, one of the easier parts. Once you get to that point, you have to get there, and it helps, you know, with other things. But once you make it, following through is key. That's what it takes a little practice.
I think you've pretty much nailed it there. With two aspects of what you were saying there. I mean, one is the follow through. It's like, okay, it's easy to say I've made a decision, but what happens the next day? You know, are you actually going to take the action that belongs with that decision? And then the other part you mentioned, which I think is really key, this is what I've really struggled with making personal decisions about my life, is self-doubt. Sometimes you're faced with a decision, and it can be anything. It can be absolutely anything. It can be as small as like what clothes to wear, and it can be as big as like, should I change my whole life? Should I go for a business? Like is what's facing a lot of the people who come to see Rebel TV. But what's really interesting is that you mentioned self-doubt, and you mentioned that that there are two parts to it, and you're kind of sitting there going, well, is this the right one? Is that the right one? And quite often we'll say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it, and then it's like we just don't have the follow through to match the decision because we were never that certain about the decision in the first place. And I've heard the definition of decision. Decision comes from the root word decidere or something like that from Latin. I'm just coming out with this from the depths of my memory, so that could be totally wrong. But apparently it's to cut off from. So a decision is to cut off possibilities. And I think that when we make personal decisions, we rarely experience it that way. We're not really cutting off possibilities. We're saying, okay, I think I'll try this one, but I might come back to this other one. So then, on the flip side, because what people are really here to learn about is how to use a different decision-making model. We're talking really about how you can use other people's decisions as the propellant for making a solid decision and then following through. So Sarah, let's hear a little bit from you about times that you've made decisions from that perspective. What's that look like for you?
Well, I have the tendency to be a little bit competitive, so those kinds of situations really draw me in to begin with. I don't think I'm mean when I'm being competitive, but there's something about constructively comparing myself to somebody else who's in a very similar situation and using them to sort of give me maybe sub-goals or steps towards my decision, within my decision-making process. Or I made the decision, I'm in the follow-through now, right? And so it can kind of help me to break it down, because there's the end goal, and here's someone else who's working towards the end goal, and if I'm in that area of I'm really not sure, or if I'm beating myself up because I thought it was going to be really easy, I can look to somebody else in a similar situation and say, oh, well, they just took that step. I can take that step. And I need to take it now before they move on to the next step, because then I'm behind and I can't stand to lose stuff. So that's sort of how that works out for me. But it also makes it more fun, too, which is nice.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's like the competition feeling moves it from the space of wondering about yourself to, kind of moving forward in the spirit of fun and competition. And there's actually a couple ways that you can use other people's decisions to move forward. The one that you're talking about really, Sarah, is that kind of looking laterally. So there's someone else in a similar situation, and they start to suddenly move forward. Like maybe they've set a cool goal, and you're like, ooh, I like that goal. I think I want to go right alongside with them. What using other people's energy does, and we're not talking, like removing energy from them. A huge amount of energy is created by people who are moving, and then when people move together, more energy is created. So rather than taking away, it just adds to the entire energy. So when you're looking at someone, from who's on a similar level to you, it generates competition, but it also generates a actual time angle to your goals. So you might, be sitting there with a goal of like, well, I'd like to someday hit 10 grand in a month, but I don't know when. At some point it'll be nice, but it's still just, it's not that important to you. Whereas when you start to see your friend who was at the same level as you start to take off and they're getting near it, then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, I want to hit it when they hit it, and it just kind of immediately gives you this energy you didn't know you had. So Donnie, I'd love to hear from you. What's been your experience with this kind of model of using the other people's energy? And we don't mean using them, harming them. We mean sharing in the energy of someone else's decisions.
Well, okay, you snuck that in there on me. Of course, using someone else's energy against them, I guess, could be a way.
Negative. We don't mean against them. No.
We don't know. No. No, it's the analogy of martial arts, though. It's something that I enjoy doing. Is you can often use someone else's energy to defend yourself. But that's a different story. As far as in the decision-making process and trying to reach goals and everything, as far as energy levels, it's like a train ride. It's like, you can be on the tracks, with one of those little carts, and you could just be pumping up and down, and you're just kind of, putting along and trying to get to your goal. Well, then you have someone else that gets on the other side, and they start pumping too. Well, the next thing you know, you're going a lot faster. And then all of a sudden they see the hook, and then the train is moving that way, and you're like, hey, the train's going that way. The energy, everyone, it's moving, it's going fast. So you just slap the hook over into the clasp, and then you're just riding along. And you're just basically along for the ride on the train, and there's the energy, the locomotion, the energy in motion is sort of a perpetual thing, and then next thing you know, the inertia takes over and you're gone to whatever your goal you're seeking. It becomes more of a reality quicker. Before you even know it, you're already there, and it's like you look back and you think, well, what happened? How did I get here? This is great because I thought I would never get here. All that self-doubt and lack of self-confidence about what you're going to be doing and all of these things in the past that you just had a short time ago, that's gone. You're already there. You're at least on your way to your goal. You're progressing along with the momentum, so to speak. But I've noticed a lot of times in my own past that whether I was with someone else or piggybacking off of someone else's energy or what they were doing, or just paying attention to what they were doing and modeling after them, modeling after a mentor, that helps a lot, and definitely can propel you forward. It's a lot of it is unspoken, just sort of a thing with the energy field. I don't know, it's a sort of a metaphysical type thing. Just things start happening, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's really.
Yeah, I think that you hit on a few things there, and really the one thing that jumps out at me hugely, obviously, is that train metaphor. I've never really seen it or heard it quite that way, and I think that's absolutely beautiful because that kind of illustrates what we're talking about here. What we were talking about with Sarah, that move of like you're working on your own and not a lot is happening, and then someone else is taking off, so you sort of start to take off together. But then there's this whole other element which you didn't even know about, which is the train, and then the train itself is like you can be caught up in the momentum of what's going on around you in the larger aspect of what you're a part of. So for us, clearly here. The Rebels are all part of a company. We work together with one system to create momentum. And what's been happening right now in our company is this immense amount of momentum because of a few really key decisions and announcements that they've made. It's like all of a sudden everyone's energy was at the like, okay, we're working, and then all of a sudden they make a new big decision where they're going to be creating some amazing things and shifting everything in the whole industry. It's like the whole energy level just went whew, and all of a sudden it's like you don't even have to like I'm working, but it doesn't take as much energy. It doesn't feel so like, okay, I got to do my part. It's kind of like we're all running together, and the momentum of the train is exciting, but it's like it's not something. The train is going. It's going with or without us, and we can choose to put ourselves, hook ourselves on, or we can choose to continue just working on our own. But another thing that you mentioned there was confidence. And I think to work entirely on your own and to create decisions entirely on your own, it requires all these really great strengths from within. There's nothing wrong with propelling yourself through a goal. You grow your confidence, you grow your own energy levels, you grow the ability to really trust in your decisions. But it's kind of like trial by fire, whereas you can get going on momentum and then grow as you go. Actually, that's one of the things that happened for me and Mike when we first started to hit our momentum. We kind of just got swept up in the wave of like hooking onto the train and moving forward. And what was interesting is we even realized this ourselves, that then later on we had to still do some growth to catch up to how fast the success had happened. And it was fun, it was exciting, but all these things kind of like they all matter, but you can use the momentum to get on the to get moving, to get your initial results, that then from a place of knowing you can do it, you actually have a lot more confidence to build on, just because of being able to say, hey, look what I did, and it's really powerful. Another cool way that you can use other people's energy and other people's ideas to propel you forward, and this was a big one for me, is challenges. Someone says, okay, I want you to do this in this amount of time. For me, that was at a company event, someone said, who's going to be on stage next time? And it's always stuck in my head, because in that moment I was like, I am. And then I felt like I committed to that speaker, that I was going to do it. And then afterward I was like, well, shoot, do I think I can? Well, I don't know, but like it sounds like a cool challenge. So it can also be a great way to create your goal if you struggle to find something that you're excited about going for, or that you feel like you can do. If someone says, hey, this is doable, I want to see you do it, it's a lot easier to then go, okay, I'll run, I'll give it a go. So Sarah, have you had any experiences like that where like a challenge has been thrown down and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it?
Definitely. Actually, that happens to me a lot, I think, because I tend to put out this. It's not a facade, really. It's really part of me. I tend to put out this image, though, of self-confidence that. Even if I'm not quite sure, because that's just sort of my default mode. And so people will then make assumptions of like, oh, well, then this should be easy for you. And I'm like, yes, you're right, whether I've done it before or not. But that actually really helps me to say, well, clearly if other people can see from my energy from the outside that I'm capable of something like this, then clearly I am. So I'll just do it, and it still is a little bit of sort of, not trial by fire, but it's still a little bit of fumbling and testing things out. But that challenge in and of itself, thrown out from somebody else, can sometimes give me enough momentum to get going in the right direction. And then with each little win, each little result, then my actual self-confidence in that area builds, and that just makes it easier to keep that momentum rolling forward.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, and actually, if you guys are curious, we're getting a cool downpour right now. If you guys are curious to hear more about the topic of self-confidence and self-confidence versus the idea of ego, we actually had an episode about that hosted by Sarah a couple days ago, so you can look at the YouTube channel and check that out. But yeah, I think that you're right. It's like the challenge can at least give you extra energy, an extra boost of energy to push forward. And what about you, Donnie? How have challenges, like someone laying down a challenge, how has that given you energy? How has that changed things for you?
Well, sometimes it's just lights a fire. I mean, it's just lights a fire up under you, because if someone, draws a line in the sand and says, "Hey, are you going to cross this line with me, and we're going to go do this or not?" And the challenge is there, and it's I guess you can call it pride. A lot of times it starts with pride at first. Like, well, I'm going to do that just because. But then once you get into it, you'll realize it's a lot more than just being prideful and thinking you can do it. When the challenge is you're accepted to what you're going to be doing, that it changes the whole outlook of what you were thinking before. It's like what you were thinking before is totally different now that you've crossed that line. Look at the line in the sand, and you stepped on the other side, and you're like, now what? Okay, and you see your goal up ahead, and you're going to go however you're going to get there. Pick your path and change your course, but that challenge is issued, so there's that drive, that prideful fire that you have to it's just burning inside, and you can either make a decision to falter and not do it and feel bad, or just follow through with it and keep going and stick to it. It's like running a race or anything like that. You know that if you just, I could just quit now and just go get a drink of water. Well, yeah, you could, but you're not going to feel good about it later, and you're not going to finish the race, and you're not going to get the medal, or you're not going to win. So you just drive on and just keep on and steady the course, and make course corrections as you need to, and use sheer determination and will and good thinking and good training, and to get to your goal. It's played a large part of my decision making, and actually getting towards my goals, is once that decision is made, once that line is drawn, the challenge has been accepted, go for it. That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's cool. What it can do is it can just like give you that extra focus and energy to do it. And also, I think, in terms of a personal challenge, sometimes just knowing that someone believes in you, you might not believe it's possible for you, but someone else does. Like that person for me from stage did not know me as an individual, but she said this to the whole crowd. She was like, I think anyone in here is perfectly able to do this, and she wanted everyone to go for it. And just that there's someone there who believes that that's possible, believes it's possible for anyone, creates this immense amount of energy. So we've talked about like 3 different ways that you can use other people's energy to propel you forward. We said that you can use someone who's close to you, maybe in a similar situation, but is going somewhere. You can also use the momentum of having someone throw down a challenge, someone who you respect, who maybe has done something that you admire, and they say, hey, I think you can come do this with me, let's go. There's also the momentum of the train. There's the momentum of the train. And what's going on right now within the Rebels is there is a train taking off. Actually, the company as a whole has been absolutely taking off. So this is the time where we as the Rebels want to throw down the challenge to you, our viewers. A lot of you guys come back and you go through our videos and you learn stuff from the Rebels, but you're not actually in the Rebels yet. So the challenge that we want to throw down to you tonight is to make a decision to join us. Make a decision to join the Rebel who invited you to this call. There should be a button somewhere below this video where you can click learn more about what we do and make the decision to become a part of the Rebels. What happens then is you're in the actual Rebels and you get the benefit of the momentum, all the exciting ideas that you see on Rebel TV, the people you see on Rebel TV. We're regular people, we're Rebels. We will push you, we will give you that extra energy and say, come on, let's do this. But it's because we want you to achieve your dreams. It's how we can help create the most successful team of entrepreneurs in the history of online marketing. So do you guys have anything to add to our amazing episode of Rebel TV?
Yeah. Like you said, we just gave 3 pretty simple ways that you can leverage external forces and external energy to get yourself going. And I can't think of a clearer call to action than that. You've got 3 ways to choose from to help you push yourself farther. Do it. Take advantage of that now.
Awesome. Donnie, do you have anything you want to throw in?
No, I just think that this is one amazing episode, and everyone watching, you should watch it again and make a decision and accept a challenge of your own and go for it.
Sweet, sweet. Well, thanks, guys, for watching. Click the button. We can't wait to be inviting you into the Rebels and helping you to move forward to your dreams with the incredible momentum that we already have. We just need you to hop on board. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.